Hey guys, in today's video, I'll be giving an overview of the most common symptoms for experiencing anxiety at night and also some really important tips that helped me beat my own bedtime anxiety, and I think you might find them sort of surprising. I'm Meredith from healinsomniafromwithin.com, and I wanted to make this video because I actually dealt with anxiety at night for over a decade. But at the time, I actually didn't know that what I was experiencing was anxiety. I was totally clueless. So I hope this video helps you find a bit more clarity for your own situation. But even more important than that, the goal of this video is to help you get closer to overcoming bedtime anxiety altogether. Please note that everything that I speak of is from my own personal experience, and I've also put together a little bonus for you guys. I have a free PDF guide where I break down some of the most important do's and don'ts of how to fall asleep fast without anxiety. So if you stick around till the end of this video, I'll let you know how you can go ahead and grab that. Now, the main symptoms of anxiety at night include trouble falling asleep, trouble staying asleep, feeling nervous or restless at night, like you can't seem to relax, and then also worrying about stuff. So, nighttime comes around and you have a hard time shutting your mind off, and the thoughts just get a bit out of control with the doomsday scenarios. And then, of course, with even things that are less dramatic, like worrying about work, worrying about school, worrying about family or friend stuff, worrying about anything really. So if you relate to any of these things, then it's possible that what you're experiencing at night is anxiety. Now, what I really want to talk about is how to no longer experience these anxiety symptoms anymore, because this is something that I dealt with for a really long time, but now I'm to the point where I don't experience these anxiety symptoms anymore on a regular basis. But before we dive into the tips that I'm going to be sharing with you in this video, I really feel compelled to first address this whole culture I see that seems to have been created, and that's a culture of managing or coping with anxiety symptoms as if that's the only option out there and as if that's the best that you'll ever be able to do. I have an issue with that because, just quite frankly, I disagree. I feel that the vast majority of people living with anxiety are actually suffering unnecessarily, and I don't believe that coping is the best that you'll be able to do. I think that you can actually reclaim your power over the anxiety and essentially get rid of it to the point where it's just not something that you have to deal with so frequently. And I know that there's all these videos out there teaching techniques on how to cope with anxiety in the moment if you're having an anxiety attack, and those are all great and fine, and those do help, but I just don't think that managing anxiety or learning how to cope with anxiety should be the end goal. I believe that, we really are so much more capable than we think of ourselves to be. And so that's why I try to emphasize the things that really make a difference over the long term, that can get you actual long-term results, so that eventually you can get to the point where anxiety isn't a big deal anymore. So to me, that is the goal. Okay. Let's now talk about, what's really going on when you have anxiety at night and what you can actually do about it. If I had to sum this up into just one sentence, I would say that if you're feeling anxiety at night, it's because your brain is associating night with danger. And whenever the brain is sensing danger, it creates a neurobiological response, and your mind and your body go into fight or flight mode. The key thing to understand with this is that the brain is actually doing this automatically, which is why it can feel so out of control when you're experiencing these anxiety symptoms, because it feels like they're just happening out of nowhere. So, now you might be wondering, why is my brain thinking that I'm in danger every single night when all I'm doing is lying in my bed and wanting to get some sleep? I could go into all of the brain science behind this, but at the end of the day, the thing that I want you to pay attention to here for purposes of simplicity is that the brain learns from past experiences, and then it starts to program what it learned so that it now becomes automated for your future experiences. And the brain also always has a reason for everything that it does. And so if this anxiety thing is happening every night, it's really because your brain thinks that anxiety is protecting you from some sort of danger. And when we look at it this way, it sort of seems like we should all be thanking our anxiety, because your anxiety is not out to get you. The anxiety just thinks it's helping you when it's not. It's like when someone is trying to help you and they have good intentions, but they just end up making the situation way worse. I'm sure you know that feeling. And that's how I like to think of anxiety. What's going on here is that your brain became programmed to be on high alert at night due to some past experience. But your brain can actually learn quite quickly to no longer be anxious at night and to be calm and relaxed at night instead. And so the process that you can use to achieve that, and that's what I really specialize in and obsess over, because it's truly amazing how you can change your brain and really get to the point where anxiety feels like a thing of the past. I just feel like so many of us are taught to think that we're broken and that if we have anxiety, that means that there's something wrong with us, but that's not true at all. It's perfectly normal to have anxiety, but it's also up to you to do what it takes just to make sure that you don't stay stuck in that anxious state. So how can you start making progress with all of this? Well, to start off, one really simple thing you can do is to start thanking your anxiety. So at night, when you're wanting to fall asleep and those anxious thoughts start happening, I want you to literally say to yourself in your head, "Thank you, anxiety, for keeping me safe." Because remember, the anxiety started for a reason, and that reason was to protect you. But you don't need anxiety anymore. So that's also the other thing you can do, is to let your anxiety know that it's no longer needed in your life. And so you can say something like, "Thank you, anxiety, for keeping me safe. Your job is done and you are now released." You can set the anxiety free. And I know some of you might think I'm crazy, saying I'm talking to myself in my head and all of that, but this is so simple, and it's actually a really smart thing to do, because now you are back in control. And it's just imperative that you don't let the anxious thoughts run your life. So you need to interrupt them instead and thank them for keeping you safe and protecting you, but let them know that they are now released and you can set them free, okay? So I want to know, are you going to try this? Throw me a yes in the comments if you're going to commit to speaking back to your anxiety. Give it some little back talking and put it back in its place. Also let me know if there's any other questions you have so that I can answer them in my future videos. Remember, also grab your special bonus as well. You can find the link to download my free sleep routine guide in the description below. And in that guide, you'll find even more tips on how to fall asleep easily and no longer deal with so much anxiety at night. If this video helped you in any way, remember to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so that this video can really reach even more people who could use this information, so that we can all really heal from anxiety together. I'll also link up some of my other top videos on anxiety and insomnia somewhere over here. These are really great ones to watch next. Thanks again for watching, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.